We've been talking about this subject of how music theory is important for song leaders because it's going to help them better understand what they're doing with their hands and while they're singing, and is going to help them better understand what the pianist is doing and how to talk to them. Now, one concept of music theory that's really important for the song leader is the concept of rhythm. Now, rhythm is basically how the notes are divided up in the measure. Notes are a lot like money. Okay, so I'm going to use the example of money to help us understand the rhythm that goes into music. Now, money has a dollar and quarters. We got quarters, 4 quarters in a dollar, and then there's also half dollars. There's 2 half dollars in a dollar. And the same is very similar in music. So these are 4, this is a quarter note. A quarter note has a little circle that's filled in. It's got a stem that comes up on it. So the little circle, the stem on, that's a quarter note. A quarter note, just like a quarter in money, takes up a quarter of the measure. So a quarter note looks like this, and it takes up a quarter of the measure. That means we can have 4 of them to make up a measure. So there's 4 quarters that make up a dollar. There's 4 quarter notes that make up 1 measure. Okay? So that is the basic note of a 4/4 time. And a 4/4 measure, you're going to have 4 notes in a measure. Now there's also what's called a half note. Here's a half note. Sorry. A half note. A half note is not going to have it filled in the middle. It's going to just be round like this. It's going to be a stem, but it's going to be round. It's not going to be filled in. So a half note, you know it's a half note because it looks like a quarter note, but it's like someone punched a hole in it, right? And punched it out in the middle. There's a little, it's just white in the middle. That's a half note. Now, a half note's a lot like a half dollar. Now, a half dollar is not very common, but sometimes growing up, you'll see that half dollar will have JFK on it, right? Now, how many half dollars make up a dollar? 2. 2 half dollars make up a dollar. There's 2 half dollars. You can buy something that's a dollar. Well, there's 2 half notes that make up a measure. 1 whole measure is made up of 2 half notes. All right, so there's the half note. And then there's the whole note. Now, a whole note takes up 1 entire measure. So from bar line to bar line, a whole note takes up a whole measure. Okay? Now, to demonstrate this concept of rhythm in music theory, we're going to use an example. We're going to use the song Footsteps of Jesus. Okay? So if you want to just follow along with me, get your hymnal and look at the song Footprints of Jesus. Now, if you look at the chorus, the last little bit of the chorus, you're going to have the words, we will follow the steps of Jesus where'er they go. Now, that part where it says, steps of Jesus, that looks like this, all right, on the staff. You're going to have 4 quarter notes, and it goes like this. Steps of Jesus. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have 4 notes that make up 1 measure, and those are all quarter notes. So it takes 4 quarter notes to make up a measure. And in this song here, in Footprints of Jesus, we say, steps of Jesus, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 notes that make up this measure here, 4 quarter notes that make up that measure. All right, so that's to demonstrate a quarter note. Now I want to demonstrate a half note. All right, now remember in that song, steps of Jesus, and then the next part goes, where'er they go. So this part of the measure, where'er they, right? Now this part here, it's a half note. That means it takes up 2 beats. Now what's the difference between this measure and this measure? Well, simply put, this half note's in there, so it takes up half of this measure. And then you only have 2 beats left, so there's 2 quarter notes. So the way that this is song led goes like this. Where'er they go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So a half note is going to take up half of that measure, and when you take up half the measure, you're actually going to hit 2 beats as you're conducting. Where to, ere they go. So you're actually going to hit 2 beats as you're conducting in a half note. And then there's a whole note. Now, a whole note is like that note at the end where it's go, right? Where'er they go, 2, 3, 4, go. So the whole note actually gets 4 beats. Just like there's 4 quarters in a dollar, there are a whole note takes up the whole measure, and there's 4 beats contained within that. So it goes like this. Where'er they go, go 2, 3, 4, and that's it. So it actually takes up a whole measure, which is 4 beats. All right. So just to review, as a song leader, it's really important for you to know the concept of music theory called rhythm. Rhythm tells you how the notes are divided. How do we know what the rhythm of the song is? Well, simply put, we know what the rhythm of the song is by the musical notes and how they are written. Are they a quarter note? Are they a half note? Are they a whole note? It tells you the division, and that tells you how fast, or rather how long or how short, you're going to sing each note. So you got quarter notes, you got a half note like this where it says where'er they go, like the where there, and then you got a whole note like the note go, where'er they go, takes up all of 4 beats. Okay, so I hope that was a help to you. Basically, rhythm is very important to song leaders.